Before you buy Halloween the game, there are a few important things you should know. With the game set to release on September 8th, 2026, we're sitting at just under 8 months until launch, which makes this a great time to understand what kind of experience the developers are aiming to deliver and whether it's something that will be worth your time. Hallween the game is shaping up to be an asymmetrical horror experience focused on tension, patience, and psychological pressure rather than constant action. And that design philosophy appears to influence almost every part of the game. In the core PvP mode, one player will control Michael Myers, while 4 other players take on the role of survivors, creating a classic 1v4 asymmetrical setup where every decision matters. Unlike fast-paced horror games, Myers is designed around map control, timing, and forcing survivors into mistakes rather than sprinting endlessly or overwhelming players with abilities. This slower, more methodical pacing is clearly intentional and closely reflects the tone of the Halloween films, where fear comes from anticipation rather than chaos. Michael Myers himself will be fully playable, and his gameplay is designed to feel distinct from other killers in the asymmetrical horror game genre space. Playing Myers appears to emphasize patience, positioning, and inevitability rather than non-stop chasing. His abilities encourage stalking, applying pressure without always being seen, which should force survivors to constantly second-guess their movement and decisions. On the Heroes of Haddonfield side, teamwork will be essential, since objectives require coordination, communication, and smart use of the environment to stay alive. Multiple maps are expected to be available at launch, helping keep matches feeling fresh. This setup creates a strong mind game dynamic where Meyer players who think ahead are rewarded, while survivors who panic can quickly find themselves in trouble. The asymmetrical player versus player mode is clearly positioned as the main long-term draw, offering replayability through different playstyles, map layouts, and player decision making. Outside of PvP, Hallween the game will also include a single-player mode, which serves 2 key purposes. First, it gives players a way to experience the game's atmosphere and tone without the pressure of competing against other players. Second, it works as a learning tool, allowing new players to familiarize themselves with Myers' abilities, survival mechanics, and overall pacing before jumping into multiplayer. This mode also makes the game more long-lasting, since it offers meaningful content even for players who prefer solo experiences or aren't always in the mood for PvP. While the single-player mode isn't meant to replace multiplayer, it adds extra value by expanding the experience beyond strictly competitive play. Another important thing to know before buying is how closely the game is leaning into the Halloween IP. Maps, characters, and environments are heavily inspired by the films, with recognizable location and visual storytelling that longtime fans will immediately notice. These locations aren't just cosmetic either. They're designed to reinforce the stalking-focused gameplay by creating tight sight lines, limited escape routes, and areas where Myers can disappear and reappear at will, using his shape jump ability. Based on what we have seen so far, the sound design, lighting, and music are all intended to work together to maintain tension throughout each match. That said, it's important to understand the pros and cons going into this game. On the positive side, Halloween the game is expected to excel at atmosphere, authenticity, and psychological horror, offering a slower and more suspense-driven alternative to other asymmetrical titles. However, that same design choice may not appeal to everyone. Players who prefer fast-paced chases, constant action, or arcade-style horror may find the pacing slower than expected. This is a game that appears to reward patience and strategy rather than rushing objectives or relying purely on reflexes. So those are 5 important facts to know before buying Halloween the game. With release less than 8 months away, now is the time to decide whether this kind of tension-focused asymmetrical horror experience is right for you. If you found this breakdown helpful and want more coverage as we get closer to launch, make sure to subscribe and come back for future videos. I'll see you in the next one. Welcome to Mr. Unleashed World.